doing the formal welcome here. And as was circulated, one of the major agenda item is obviously with regard to the new Commerce Secretary is joined, and I think so. Sir, may I request you for the formal welcome section?
Thank you. Honorable Commerce Secretary Shri Puri, MOS Shri Somprakash, Honorable Ministers from the states, Unity, my colleagues from the Department of Commerce, from other Government of India departments and the state governments. Gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be welcoming you all to this very, very important Board of Trade meeting. And my sincere thanks to all of you for having spared time to join this meeting at this very, as far as, our exports sector in particular is concerned, which is the main subject matter of our discussion today. This forum, as we all appreciate, is the most representative level for consultation on trade issues. It's significant as all the states are participants in this forum. We engage quite frequently with the councils and with the exporter community and with our industry colleagues, but this is the forum where we engage with the state governments, and I particularly welcome all the state governments for their participation. As someone said, anything that happens in India happens one state or the other or a union territory. So no matter coalition support of the state government, it cannot be successful, it cannot achieve its full. So at this juncture, at a critical juncture as far as our exports sector is concerned, seek the cooperation of all the states as we have received in the looking at the export sector 20, we were seeing signs of a slowdown, signs of a global slowdown were occurring. We had the backdrop of the US-China trade war. We had all these issues, and a slowdown was distinctly visible in Europe, a slowdown was visible in the US. And it was a major negative shock. The health consequences in terms of the human toll that COVID extracted, economic cost that COVID has extracted our export sector. In 2021, April to November, there's been a decline of 17.84% in our export compared to, is still significant. Gems and jewelry, and then the decline is lower. Then the decline is only 8.3. Gems and jewelry, petroleum, as you know, both are low value addition sector. It is low, so I find that in the sectors where activity is more meaningful in terms of value addition, there the decline is much lower. Similarly, on the import side, if you look at the import side, April to November fell by 33.56%, almost 34%. Whereas if you take out jewelry, then the decline is less. Decline is only 26%. So clearly, gems and jewelry and really, of course, it's a sign of the global slowdown which has happened. Gems and jewelry, I think it's a sign of falling by the wayside in a recessionary period. The silver lining, of course, is that our trade deficit has come down. But then again, to the extent it's an indicative of a slowdown, something of full consolation for us, and we need to be somewhat concerned as to what are the reasons behind the imports falling. Some sectors have done wonderfully well, which again, if you see the sectors, it is understandable why they've done well. Pharma has grown by over 15%. Our rice exports have grown by in this April to November period. Iron ore exports have gone up by 62%. This is not exactly something we should be overly happy about, because we need to risen. Cereal preparations have risen. Oil seeds have risen. Oil meals have risen phenomenally by 22%. Cereals have risen by 132%. So this pattern is understandable. Pharma has done well. Obviously, necessity, especially in times like this, where COVID is predominant, and all the food items are necessities, no matter what the economic circumstances. My only request would be that we need to sustain this growth, the growth in pharma, the growth in food products need to sustain it. It should not be a temporary gain to normal once things normalize across the globe. I encourage all our state governments and the APCs to concentrate, and wherever we have not done well, which are the others, we need to recoup the setback and quickly recover to the past levels and then grow from there. So this is my understanding, our understanding of the economic scenario right now. We'll welcome your perspectives, your concerns, your suggestions would be extremely valuable and useful juncture. Everyone would have seen the agenda that we have for today. It's a very comprehensive agenda. They're in the draw for the discussion. Take this opportunity quickly. The areas we are emphasizing in Government of India. One area is, of course, the districts as export hubs. Honorable Prime Minister had announced on Independence Day in 2019 that every district should achieve its full potential as a center of exports. And we've been then, and we've got admirable support from all the state governments. Whatever balance effort needs to be made, I'd request all the state governments to help us in potential of this initiative to make every district a hub of manufacturing excellence, a hub for exports of both goods and services. And linked to that is our agriculture export policy. We are trying to implement the agriculture export policy through the state governments manner in every cluster, and now we are linking it with this district initiative. So the district as an export hub initiative, a major component. I would request support from the state governments in that endeavor also. Say time is very. I'll just like to suggest some ground rules with the honorable. I'll request everyone to avoid all formalities, avoid all platitudes, point suggestions pointedly. If someone is already made, please don't repeat your suggestion. To please stress a point, you can always email us, give us a written submission. So I request everyone's support in doing this meeting in a very streamlined manner, in a very efficient manner. DGFT would be conducting the meeting, and we would need to respect his thing. Also request our GOI presenters to make their presentations very pointedly and briefly, to convey the point on every slide quickly without going through every line. With that, let me close my remarks by thanking you all once again and request DGF take the meeting forward. Thank you so much.
Thanks for the meeting. Mr. Som Prakash, who was outside Delhi, is unable to join. He would not be joining. So may I request Honorable Minister for State Puri his address. It's got a message that probably he's joining in 2 minutes. Sir, so we wait for him or?
No, I'll speak. हमारे आपस में कोई formality नहीं है.
He's joining in 2 minutes, sir. He had to go out some 2 minutes. He's returned, Mr. But yeah, sir. Yes, sir.
Would you like to just share the agenda in the meantime? Tell the people and tell me also.
We have this. We have this opening session, which is the address by the honorable ministers. Welcome address is already over. So this opening session has been 1 minute. Hello. The agenda, as I said, agenda will be the opening session followed by presentation. We will keep the presentation brief. We have give an overall perspective of various aspects of trade, of the commerce and industry ministry, and then we have the session where we would take inputs from the states. State ministers are confirmed participation, sir. We have 16 state ministers participation already. They are there in the meeting also, sir. And then other Board of Trade members, the final concludings. Sir, Honorable Minister Hardeep Puri has joined, sir. I welcome him and he can, sir, I request you for your address.
Thank you very much. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir.
Perfect.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I think this is a very opportune time for us to have this meeting of the Board of Trade, and I want to thank CIM for convening this. When we met last year, we were faced with a different circumstances. So this meeting, I believe, taking place in somewhat extraordinary times. But on this occasion, I want to start by quoting Winston Churchill, said that a pessimist sees the difficulty in every opportunity, an optimist sees the opportunity in every difficulty. And as a student of history and this quote appropriate for the difficult times that we are living in. It is clear that the pandemic has impacted everyone, and the world hasn't seen since this 1980. I also want to share with you that it was CIM who in action first drew my attention to the horrors of the Spanish flu when we were beginning to wonder as to how serious this is going to be. Fortunately for us, the Prime Minister realized the gravity of this challenge to impose a strict lockdown enabled us to survive the crisis and achieve three things. We were able to slow down the spread of the virus. Us became available to prepare an appropriate health infrastructure and the post-COVID economic recovery. After a strict lockdown, which was predicated on the desire to save life, we slowly went into but surely went into the new mode, which is to look for livelihood. Say with a degree of confidence, I saw the GST figures this morning. I have seen other indices, and we can say at the past few months to understand the process and that we are now pre-COVID in a number of areas. The state of play of supply chain disruption and global digital transformation, the pandemic has shown to us that it is risky for global supply chains to be effective or to de-risk the global supply chain and use the crisis to unleash path-breaking reforms covering a range of sectors from agriculture, civil aviation, labor reforms, mining, railways. FDI was accompanied by a package of over 20 lakh crores. While announcing the package, our topmost priority was to ensure the well-being of those sections of our society which were the most vulnerable, for which several steps have been taken. For example, through the Nidhi scheme, street vendors, a microcredit scheme, we are assisting street vendors in the country. As of 23rd November, 27.6 lakh loan applications have been received. 14.8 lakh loans have been sanctioned and more than 8.5 lakh loans have been disbursed. We wanted to reach about a few months. We've already reached 28 lakhs and we have already disbursed loans to about 8.5 lakhs. It is about transforming India from being just a positive market to an active at the heart of the global, with two more Atmanirbhar Bharat packages for sectors that have high income and employment generating potential. Well, subsequently distributed production-linked incentive PLI scheme covering 10 key sectors, including sunrise sectors like ACC battery manufacturing, as well as labor-intensive sector. Scheme of approximately 2 lakh crores is aimed to make Indian manufacturing globally in the areas of core competency and cutting edge, create economies of scale, enhance exports, and make India an integral part of the global supply chain. India has risen from 81 to 48 in the Global Innovation Index ratings. India has also risen from 142nd rank to 63rd rank in the World Bank's Ease of Doing Business ranking in the last 5 years. $70 billion from institutional investors between January 2019 and July 20 was equal to that received in 4 years between 2013 and 17. Confidence of global investor community in India is seen by the fact that FDI into India went up by 20% in 2019, and this when global FDI inflows fell by 1% overall. Overdose during the first 6 months of this year was at its peak globally. As you can see, the basic groundwork for make a manufacturing and services export hub has been done by global investors. But much more needs to be done in a coordinated manner by both the center and the states. And for that reason, of this Board of Trade assumes a significance. Here we have the participation not only of all the state governments, major stakeholders, entities. The role of states is absolutely critical. Most important factors such as availability of Pollution Control Board compliances and labor compliances, the realm. States will be able to generate jobs which take active and drastic steps. It is often not realized that with a share of 45% of Department of Commerce through implementing the districts as export hubs, also referred to decentralize the export promotion. Every district has products and services which are being exported along with new products and services to increase production, grow exports, generate economic activity, and achieve the goal of Atmanirbhar Bharat, vocal for local, and districts as export hubs. As we go forward, we have to think of ways to enhance India's share 6 to 1.8% to 3% in the next 5 years. I want to share this personally with you. When I was a young trade negotiator in Geneva in the early 80s, was less than 1%. If I remember correctly, 0.6%. 0.6% figure, but for India, with our kind of potential and the importance of the external sector in an economy which will soon be $5 trillion, 3% figure of exports, overly ambitious, it is real enough to be a target. How long will the process of exporting raw material and importing finished goods continue? How do we realign our trade basket to cover high technology and high value exports? How do we provide the enabling ecosystem for next generation technologies which will dominate the global economic landscape of the next few decades? I hope during today's discussion with all the majors will enable us to think about these questions and realistic and practical question to chart our future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the your address, sir. Now, may I invite Honorable the Board of Trades.
Thank you, Mr. Yadav. My colleague and friend, Shri Hardeep Singh Puri ji, all the distinguished ministers from several states, all the members of the Board of Trade, officials, friends. It is unfortunate that there has been a gap between our last meeting and this one. I think we were waiting for an opportune time to be able to convene. And since we were not able to meet physically, we finally decided that we will have to go ahead with a virtual meeting. I'm grateful to all of you who have spared your time and agreed to join virtually. I do hope we'll be able to make it as useful, as productive, and as outcome oriented as our last 2 or 3 meetings. May not be meeting personally, the personal connect will certainly be missing, but I'm sure we'll make up for it by an efficient discussion so that we can be more focused future for our trade, both domestic and international. A lot of statistics were given by the Secretary. Hardeep ji has highlighted quite a bit about A, how we should convert this to an opportunity, B, the importance of Atmanirbhar Bharat and how we can all collectively work towards a better future for the people of India. I'm sure the presentations that we shall now see will show us the path that is being laid out for more effective implementation of policy and promotion of foreign trade. Very clearly, we have had testing times. Pfizer has just announced its vaccine, which is the first vaccine to be accepted by a country. The UK has formally given go ahead to vaccine. We are also meeting on a day that I think Virat Kohli has achieved some very, very landmark record, probably beating the last record held by Sachin. Why I say this is, despite these trying times, I think if all of us put our heads together, we'll be able to see how we can move beyond the traditional thinking of trade, the traditional thinking of trade centered around government and government schemes and support, to more free-flowing trade on the back of India's strengths of quality, building up of scale, leveraging our comparative advantages like labor. Believe that going forward, we have every possibility both to achieve the export target of $1 trillion and the GDP target of $5 trillion. Both are still eminently doable. The country is rebounding in a very rapid recovery phase. We do believe that we'll be looking at positive growth from the next quarter onwards. Industry has become more resilient. International global supply chains are looking up to India to provide an anchor for transparent and more open economies too. And we in the different arms of the government jointly to provide a better and more enabling environment for businesses to prosper in India. I would like to acknowledge the very important role of the states in our efforts. The honorable ministers and officials from the states for your unstinted support in these endeavors. We've been receiving a lot of cooperation with the Land Bank GIS mapped website, which now already has, I believe, 13 states, and many others are in the process of joining. We are looking at a truly genuine single window which can help us expand the ease of doing business, and people from all over the world can have the confidence that they can come, buy land, get all the necessary approvals, do trade business in India, expand in the manufacturing side, in food processing, expand their services networks in India, and truly leverage India's to provide greater business opportunities to our businesses in India, to international players to come and invest in India, thereby creating large amounts of working opportunities, jobs, direct and indirect employment, the ecosystem which naturally comes around every investment, support services that support trade and business and industry. So I'm sure collectively we can all come up with a robust future for business in India, leading to a better quality of life and ease of living for the people of India. Different arms of the government have been working to identify and support specific sectors where India has advantages. The DPIIT has initiated the program in consultation and partnership with trade and industry bodies, identified 24 industry sectors which we believe crore rupees worth of annual production manufacturing in India. Just 24 sectors, and 20 lakh crores of manufacturing coming, additional manufacturing coming to India has two very important aspects. A, quality and productivity standards will improve. We'll become more cost competitive. If 20 lakh crores have to be produced, Obviously, while some part of it may be absorbed by the domestic market, a large part of it will be available as exportable surplus. So that's one aspect of this ambitious and focused plan on these 24 sectors. The second aspect is the employment and work that this will create. After all, if 20 lakh crores worth of manufacturing is added to our economy in the next 3 to 5 years, you are easily looking at 5 or 6 lakh crores worth of employee costs, at least 30%. Now that employee cost going into the hinterland of India, providing opportunities through the length and breadth of the country, will provide people, not less than 3 crore people, some working opportunity directly and indirectly. I would like to appeal to the states to supplement the efforts of the central government. We are on our part coming up with ambitious and very aggressive plans like the production linked incentive, which is almost 2 lakh crores, which will be given out to first 3 sectors and now 10, total of 13 sectors for incremental production and growth. Similarly, we are focusing on ease of doing business, the identifying the problems that each of these sectors faces and how in partnership with the states and different bodies we can solve the problems, how we can find ways and means to encourage investment in India. And I have no doubt in my mind that with the collective effort of all the states, central government, both at the political and official level, we will all work together as one team India for the better future of the people of India. I have found the earlier engagements very, very educative. Ground level feedback that members of the Board of Trade give me, coupled with the feedback I get from various engagements with industry associations, export promotion councils, different sectoral bodies, have all helped us in our work so far, particularly during the COVID pandemic. And I'm sure going forward, we'll continue this engagement now, if required, virtually, which we can do far more frequently also. We have with us several eminent colleagues from other ministries. I can see the member investigation who has joined us from the Ministry of Finance. I can see member of the Railway Board, which is also working towards making logistics faster, speedier, more cost effective and available across the country. I can see officials from many other ministries who are supporting this effort. A big thank you to all the colleagues from the central government ministries, from the various states and DFT for organizing, to all the participants. And I'm sure that you will take this opportunity to freely and frankly engage with us, give us your ideas, and also, as the DGFT said, try to be very crisp and brief so we can give more people the opportunity to participate. As I had said last time, we value your participation. We note the absence of those who are not participating. It is also considered when different projects, different schemes are being taken up at the state level also. And going forward, those of the states which are really actively participating will continue to receive even greater support from us. I would urge those states whose ministers have not joined in, I would urge their officials to do convey to their ministers, and we would have been very happy if they would have also participated. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Our mission is to build. Our mission is to achieve transformational goals together. And I have no doubt in my mind, we shall be certainly successful. My best wishes to all of you, your family members, your colleagues. Please stay safe, stay healthy. We have still not got over COVID. Maintain all the necessary protocols for your safety and your family's safety. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Quickly, we will now go to the presentation. And as directed by you and earlier by the Commerce Secretary, all of us presenters will try to maintain discipline and time so that in a limited time we put across the various information and inputs which we want to provide to the members of the Board of Trade, but at the same time be efficient. Sir, I will start with an overview. Can we have the presentation, please, sir? So large part of it is already ended by the Commerce Secretary, but still took that in the same times how we performed in same period last year across sectors, across goods, across services. We have Can we have the presentation, please, sir? And the presentation. So basically, if we look at what in these trying and challenging times, as was told, how we performed in both the goods and the services sector, we have though down compared to the same period last year, but at the same time, when we look at the services